Hi, my name's Kim J and I'm a visually impaired chef. I'm also a volunteer for RNIB. Now, I've done 2 recipe books called A Taste of Spice and A Sense of Cooking. Both are in large print, available on Amazon, with all profits going to RNIB. Now today I'm going to make coconut Barfi. Barfi is a sweet dish that we give out, and it's a celebration thing. There are different types of Barfi. This is coconut and it is so easy to do. It is unbelievable. Very little ingredients. So you need red food colouring. You need a small tin of sweetened condensed milk. You're going to need desiccated coconut, approximately 100 grams of chocolate, dark chocolate preferably with as high a cocoa in it as you can, about 25 to 50 grams of butter and some saffron. Now I've got a mixing bowl and I'm going to put that tin of sweetened condensed milk in the mixing bowl. Now I know a lot of you are sort of sitting there and thinking, God, Kim hasn't given me the quantity of desiccated coconut. And that is because it will change depending on the atmosphere of the day, because if it's warm, the mixture slackens. Now what you need to do is pour, I'd say about 200 grams at the moment to start off with of the coconut, desiccated coconut, into the condensed milk, and you stir. Like I said, an extremely easy dish to make. Right, I've mixed it together until it comes together almost like a ball. Now what you do is you get a small clump of the mixture in your hands and squeeze. And if it stays together okay, then it's fine, it's ready. But if it's very, very loose, add a little bit more desiccated coconut. Now this is perfect. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this mixture into 2. So I'll put the other half into another mixing bowl. So it's roughly divided into 2. Into 1/2 of this mixture, I'm going to put about, a small pinch of saffron. Now if you don't have saffron, don't worry. You can omit it and it won't make that much of a difference. And you mix it together like so. Now into the other half of the mixing bowl with the other mixture, I'm going to add the red food colouring. Now you can use as little or as much as you want, and you mix it together until it becomes a lovely sort of pinky, reddy kind of shade. And if you're feeling ambitious, use different colours, it doesn't really matter. Now, Barfi is a sweet we give out when we celebrate. So when we have weddings, Indian weddings, different types of Barfi are handed out, and it signifies the sweetness that's going on in your life. Now I've got a little sort of, it's like an oblong sort of case that I'm going to put this in. Now if you don't have one of these, you can put it into a small square baking tray for it to set, and then just cut it up. Now I'm going to start off with putting a little bit of that white mixture at the bottom. So you're creating layers. So in your baking tray or in sort of separate little containers, add up to about, it's approximately 1.5 centimetres thick of the white mixture, which is the one with the saffron in it. And then on top, put the pink mixture. So you've got 2 layers going on. Like so. Pat it down. And then you put it into the fridge to set. You've noticed no baking, no cooking. It's one of the easiest Barfi recipes that we have. And there you go. So 2 layers you put it into the fridge to set. Now I'm going to do a bain-marie. A bain-marie is when you basically have a pan of hot water and you put a mixing bowl which fits onto the saucepan without touching the water. Now if you feel uncomfortable doing this, that's fine. You can do this in the microwave. Now into that mixing bowl I'm going to add those chocolates and the butter, and you let it slowly melt. Now make sure you keep the temperature, if you're going to do it on the hob, keep the temperature of the hob onto a simmer. You don't want it too fast because the chocolate then starts to solidify. If you're doing it in the microwave, put it in the microwave for about 10-15 seconds, pull it out, do a stir, put it back in the microwave, and you keep doing that until that chocolate and the butter has melted. Now the chocolate has melted, and what I'm doing is I am stirring. Now sometimes if you over melt chocolate, it starts to almost solidify again. Now if that happens, don't panic, don't throw away the mixture. Just add a tiny little bit of milk to loosen it up again, and it'll be all right. Now the chocolate is now melted. It's incredibly smooth. Oh, and you can smell the richness of that dark chocolate. I always love working with dark chocolate because it's such a heavenly smell, and it is better to work with than milk chocolate, and definitely better to work with than white chocolate. With that done, I'm now going to coat the coconut burfis. You need to work relatively fast. I've had these coconut burfis in the fridge for about an hour. And what you do is you put a layer of the chocolate onto the burfi, like so, and then you pop it back in the fridge to set, or you can leave it outside, it's quite happy outside as well, and cover all those coconut burfis with that chocolate. I've took the coconut burfis out of the fridge and I've taken them out of the tin. Now if you've done it in one big block in a baking tin, just cut it into squares and you'll see that they're distinctive colours in there. For those of you who've got sight, there is a pure white at the bottom. Then you have the slightly pinkish one on top, topped with that rich dark chocolate. Now that's coconut burfi. So easy, without any baking, very quick to do, and it'll stay quite fresh for at least 5 days, but they won't last that long, trust me. And they do freeze very well, just in case anyone's wondering. They make a great snack, they make a great dessert, well worth trying, coconut burfis. Now you have a recipe for a great dish, but when you're in the kitchen there are certain safety guides and rules that you should adhere to, and which keeps you safe. Now one of the things that I do before I start cooking is I make sure that I've got shoes on that are sturdy with good grips. I make sure that there's nothing on the floor that I can trip over, and there are no spillages or liquid or condensation on the floor that makes it a bit of a hazard. Now, before cooking, the first thing that you do, as we all know, is wash our hands thoroughly. And especially when you're dealing with raw meat at every stage, wash your hands thoroughly. It stops cross-contamination. It keeps you and your family safe. When you're using the oven and the hob, know your oven and hob really well. Now I use tactile markings so that I know exactly what temperature to put the oven on and what setting, so that I've not put the grill on when I should be putting the oven on. Now with the hob, whenever you're sort of putting anything on the hob, make sure the handle is not sticking out. Now I like to keep the handle at approximately 10 to 12. And the reason for that is it's not near enough to the unit for you to accidentally knock it off. It is not over another hob which may be on, so the handle's getting hot. So this is the safest position. Now, if you're boiling anything, be very, very careful. Don't fill the pan up too much. And if possible, use the boiler alert, which tells you when that liquid is bubbling away and it's hot, and it keeps you safe. If you're not comfortable with the hob and the oven, use the microwave whenever you can. It's a lot safer. And every time you are taking things out of the oven or from the microwave, because remember, plates and dishes get extremely hot in the microwave, use oven gloves. Now, I like to use thermal oven gloves. They're a lot safer. Don't be tempted to use tea towels or anything else. And they literally go to extreme temperatures, so you're very safe with them. Whenever you cut any food in the kitchen, use safe cutting methods. Keep the blade away from your fingers, so set it a couple of millimeters away from your fingers, and that way you're safe all the time. Now, if you're not confident with a knife, you can use appliances like food processors. Make sure you know how they work properly, and keep safe. And if you're still not confident, ask somebody else to do it. It is better to be safe than have an injury. If you have any cuts or you cut yourself whilst you're in the kitchen, put a plaster on it. And if you have a burn, run it under cold water. And if it's bad, you seek medical advice straight away. Whenever you cook meat, always ensure that the meat is thoroughly cooked, because you know, raw meat will give you food poisoning. Now, the best optimum temperature to cook meat is between 66 degrees and 73 degrees. Use a food thermometer if you're not too sure. They do have talking food thermometers, which you can get quite easily. And you store the meat as soon as you can. As soon as it's cooled down, store it straight away in the fridge and read the advice on storage on the labels.